is UpFront. Welcome again to the show by artists for artists. My name is Tekla, and I am very, very excited this afternoon, as I usually am, but especially so today because I'm here with Joseph Priester. Now, Joseph, do you want me to call you Joe? Or?
That's fine. Whatever you want to call me is fine.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Well, welcome.
Opportunity.
Really happy that you're here.
Yeah.
Can we just start off by talking a little bit about your family and your how you got into music? Was it your upbringing? Did you have a parent who was a musician, or what happened?
I started playing at the age of 2 years old. My father is a respected clergyman here in the city of Charlotte. Shout out to my pops. We started in the church. We played for my dad's church for quite some time. The youth choir, different things of that sort. And my dad does not have a musical bone in his body, okay? My mom is very instrumental in being in the musician part of me, with my grandfather, things of that sort. My grandfather started a group called the Golden Tones from Mullen, South Carolina, back in the 30s.
Okay.
And him and his brothers, were musicians. And then my mom and some of her sisters and brothers are musicians. And of course, me and my brothers, we're musicians. And hopefully our kids can carry on. But this goes a long way back.
A long way back.
Yeah.
So was your mother a pianist also? Or?
My mother played piano, and she was actually the choir director for many years. And she's still doing it.
Okay.
She was instrumental in teaching me the theory of music, the rubrics of what to do as far as a musician is concerned. I would have to come home every day after school.
Okay.
Get on the piano. This is before homework.
Uh-huh.
My mom sings all the time, day in and day out. We were reared in a house where there was just a ton of music all the time.
Right.
And she was like, okay, come and play this song for me. I want you to, okay. And there were days as a young man, I didn't want to play. I wanted to go and play with my brothers, but I didn't have a chance to do that because I was sitting down at the piano, playing.
And you know what? It really paid off, didn't it?
Hey, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my heritage.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Would you say that, was she, if you had to pick a mentor or a teacher, would it be your mother then, in this case? Or were there others that came along?
There were definitely others. My mom is my first mentor, definitely.
Okay.
My grandfather, my uncles. But as time went on, I met a lot of musicians, people like Lee Bailey, John P. Key.
Wow.
The names go on, people that I idolize, and I had an opportunity to work with.
Okay.
So, a mentor, I have lots of mentors.
Gotcha.
The late Don Thompson, Michael Porter, different things, different musicians, different genres of music, Bill Hanna, you name it.
You played with them and learned from them, and then probably sometimes from you as well.
Definitely.
What about genre? Since you brought that up, that was one of the things I was wondering about in terms of what you think your influences really are. In terms, is it you said church, so gospel.
Gospel is definitely my first love.
Okay.
You can attribute that to the teachings from my parents. We were reared to love God, to love His work, to love His church, to love His people.
Right.
And of course, gospel is number one in my book. You can, acknowledge God first. That's just me. After that, I'm jazz, R&B, all the other genres fall right into place. So to pick one genre of music, hey, it's kind of hard because I love all music.
Right.
All music, yeah.
Well, I'd like to just ask you about some of your travel experiences, because I know that you've done some extensive travel in terms of, I don't know all the countries, but I think maybe Canada, Israel. I've read somewhere.
We've been to Prague. Very fortunate to go on tour with the legendary Five Blind Boys of Alabama some time ago.
Okay.
And we traveled different places, Switzerland, Czechoslovakia.
Oh man.
We've been, and that was an experience for me. And then too, that was on like more of an international level, but on a national level even, I've worked with several artists.
Right.
One comes to mind on the gospel quartet, if you will. Was a group called the Fantastic Disciples, Daryl McFadden, and I was on the road with them for I'm thinking about 7-8 years.
Wow.
I mean, all over the United States. That had to come to an abrupt halt after we had a near-fatal accident.
Oh.
I broke my leg in 2 different places, crushed my ankle.
While on tour?
While on tour.
Oh my goodness.
While on tour. So that kind of ended it with them for me. But I was fortunate enough to continue to work with other artists, other opportunities came about.
If I ask you who was your we don't want to pick favorites, but what was one of your favorites, let's say it like that, one of your favorite performers that you've had an opportunity to work with, and why that person? Maybe if you have to say 2, maybe 2. What have you really liked? What was really, really good, I guess?
It was a guy that I opened up for, and I know you all know him well. His name is John Legend. I opened for John Legend. This is like 2000 when he first came out with his first project, and we were fortunate enough to be opening for him over at the Big Chill. I don't know if you remember the Big Chill.
Here in Charlotte?
Absolutely.
Is he from Charlotte?
No, he's not from Charlotte.
Right, okay. Wow.
He's not from Charlotte. But we opened for him, and the opportunity to just meet the brother and whatnot. So we were opening, and he came out on stage, and hey, it was just chemistry from that.
Right.
I worked with Stephanie Mills at one time. Stephanie and I did a unplug live on radio 101.9. Preston Miles, I'm sorry, was there then at that time, and that show was just pretty much off the cuff. Brought the keyboard in, and it was just off to the races from there.
And she is here in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Stephanie.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. Well, can we take a listen to something that you've done recently?
Sure.
You were out. I happened to see you. I was elated. So
okay,
we'll take it. I loved it. So we're going to take a listen, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Girl, don't you know that I'm having you around? Oh, babe. Come on, y'all know the song. Don't keep running. So many times I want to hold you oh so near. I want to say I love you softly in your ear. Oh, baby. Don't be running.
for that, and welcome back. Really, really love to hear you play.
Thank you much.
Can we talk now about your work, some of your work that you've been doing in recent years, recent times, and even up to the present? I'd like to start off by asking you about the name of your band, your group.
The band is called JPism. Originally started as ISM. In 1995, as a matter of fact, this coming June, we're celebrating 20 years now. Hey, ism is a state of being. It's what you are, you know. So when you hear our music, there it is. I mean, we give it to you in its rarest form, and we hope that you would, and our audience would just receive what we have to offer as musicians. We put our whole heart and soul in, and we want people to really enjoy. Get your own ism on. You know what I'm saying? So
I like it. And now I want to say congratulations, first of all, on the 20-year.
Thank you much. We're going to be actually planning some events coming soon, so stay tuned. I'll tell you, we've got quite a few things. We're going to bring back some of the original members and members who've been with us for the last 20 years, and do a really, really nice concert. I'm looking forward to it.
I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Now let's just talk about your projects a little bit,
Sure.
Your recording projects. I'm curious about the name of this first album.
The Ism Theory.
Yes.
Right.
Is that an extension of the name of the group in terms of what does that mean to you? And then if you could talk about some of the pieces on there that you liked or that you know
right.
especially well.
Actually, the Ism Theory was a piece where all the musicians that were we began to gel and become a family. It was more than just being in a band together. We were actually becoming a family, and it was a general idea where we all can just take our ideas, our theories, and put them together to make them the Ism Theory. Noble Guest, who is a friend of mine, he was one of the original members.
Okay.
Antonio McMillian was an original member, and Terry Dillard.
Okay.
We created a sound and an energy that was, at that time, I think, unparalleled, and forgive me for being so, we developed a sound and a following relatively quickly, because you don't find too many musicians who play an instrument and sing at the same time. There's not a lot of musicians that do that.
No,
so
there
we
aren't.
were unique in our own, you know.
Right.
So it just grew and grew and grew. So the Ism Theory came about. We released it. We did not go as far as trying to put it on a major platform. But what we did, we had those pieces available when we were out performing, have them for consumption for the general public. So
you know, Rick James's band, that's the only other band I've heard that said that they really gelled into a family.
They had to.
Very interesting, and it allows you to produce a different kind of, have a freedom that you wouldn't other.
It's important to gel. It's important for any band to gel. I mean, that's what rehearsals are for, and then you learn each other. You learn body language. You hear, you listen. You kind of break bread together. You sleep. You know, all of that to become, you know, a real band.
But that theory piece, in terms of putting that, it almost sounds like a collective instead of it just being about you. It almost sounds like you're saying it was a collective.
I'm that kind of guy. I'm not about, okay, it's just Joe Priester or JPism, what have you. Right. You know, whoever I bring together, it's about everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you sound like a great.
I'm not selfish at all.
You sound like a great musician to work with, I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you much. Yeah.
What about your next project? Because there's another one to follow. The first one was 2002. The next one was 2007 or something.
2006. 2006. I produced a young lady from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Her name is Dorlisa Gales.
Sounds familiar for some reason.
Yeah, 10 great songs that we collaborated. Myself, Miss Dorlisa, Kevin Cloud, and a couple other musicians. L.A. Page was on it. The late L.A. Page was on that project. Michael Porter was on that project. So again, we produced her. She's doing very well now. And then shortly after that, I came up with the single "Where Did Love Go?" 2007. We are still, we don't do that song as much as we need to, but you'll hear it. You'll hear it.
Oh, I can't wait. You didn't do it the other night.
No, we didn't.
Okay,
We didn't. I mean, because of time, we were not
Right.
able to do it.
Right.
But,
Right. And then you've been doing some other work after that, like
oh man,
some projects. I think you put almost several pieces together on another one. It had a name for that project that I think is still a work in progress.
It's a work. It's called Confessions of a Brother. That's coming up.
Now everyone wants to know what that's about. What are some of the pieces on some of these that you was?
Well, I'm not gonna spill the beans on that, but I will say this is that it's been a long time since we've had an artist to really talk about the issues of a man, not saying a black man or white man, a man, and there's some expressions, some things that we got to spill out, and we want to do it musically.
Wow.
So that's going to be an interesting project.
Wow.
We're not rushing it at all. We've been
Right.
working on it for quite some time, but
Right.
again, when it's released, I want it to be
Right.
perfect.
Well, now everyone's curious, including me.
It's coming.
We want to hear this.
It's coming.
All
It's
right.
coming.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Let's just jump for a minute back into the wider spectrum and just what is the state of the art right now for jazz musicians within the music industry, or even locally here? What's your estimate of how what's the climate like, I guess, and the receptiveness? We talked a little before we started about the youth. Where are we at? This art form.
I guess you're saying the state of where we are right now.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's really not enough support from audiences, and people will not support what they don't know about.
Okay. All right.
We've got to do better as musicians communicating, this is what we're doing, come out, and it's a work in progress. I mean, you have to keep working at that, develop a following. As it relates to musicians, younger musicians coming up, I'm committed to spending more time with cultivating the next level of the next phase of musicians coming up, because, I mean, let's face it, we're not going to be here forever.
Right.
So it's important that we leave some kind of legacy, some kind of something.
Well, you certainly have already done that. Let's take another listen.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a listen. Please enjoy this piece.
Come on, real big. Stay away, have the night. Love is just making changes. It must be love that's on your mind. You're doing things you couldn't before. Come on, background. You ought to know, baby. Love will make you so happy inside. You ought to know. Love will make you so sad. Make you cry. Come on, the best. Love changes. Love changes. Sing, let's. Love changes. All right, now. All right, now. All right. Come on, clap your hands, y'all. I'm gonna sing it one more time. Come on. Straight away, half the night, love is just making changes.
play.
Wow.
Love
Thank
it.
you. That means a lot to me. Thank
Yes,
you.
I do. Now, you have heard a rumor that you worked at one time, or you opened for a couple other big names, some, even here in Charlotte.
Man, Frankie Beverly Mays, Jimmy Cozier, man, I mean, we've
Awesome.
opened for a lot of folk.
Yeah, awesome.
We've done a lot of performing on the local, regional, national level.
And international, it sounds
Yes,
like.
absolutely.
Is there anyone out there that you still want to work with, that just is, I really want to work with them one day, that you haven't yet, or pretty much?
Hey, I mean, if an opportunity really ever came about, I want to work with Prince one time. Just to, that brother is a genius to me. Multi-talented. I mean, I want to know what's going on up here. So I would love to work with Prince. Prince and some of the artists that are gone on before. I wish I would have an opportunity to work with them.
Absolutely, but I'm not surprised to hear you say Prince, because I heard you do a number the other night. You sang.
Purple Rain.
Oh, I said it was really beautiful.
Yeah, we had fun with that too.
Oh, you do a great job.
Well, we had fun with it. Thanks, Rob McCoy. Rob McCoy is a very talented guitarist. So
I know Rob, actually.
he made that happen for us that night. So that was cool.
Beautiful.
That was
absolutely
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to close out here in just a minute, but I do want to know, is there an all-time favorite tune that you have? Or what's your top 2 or 3? What do you?
My all-time favorite tune would be Donny Hathaway's "Someday We'll All Be Free." That song does it for me every time. I love that song. So don't be surprised if you hear that in the show, because he's one of my idols as well.
Mine too, actually, as well.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
What's next? We're going to get out of here in a minute, but I just want to know what's next.
Well, I'm going to continue to bring quality live entertainment, broaden our horizons as it relates to the arts, not just live entertainment, but all of the arts, spoken word, poetry, comedy, that kind of thing. We want a complete show.
Wow.
And that's what we're working on, and we're going to be diligent with that.
Wow.
So hopefully your listeners can continue to support, and it doesn't have to be just Joe Priest and JBism. All of the arts, support the arts. That's all we got.
That's a wonderful note to stop on, and I agree completely. Support the arts.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Yeah, please come back.
I shall. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.